Hey everyone, I'm Chapple. I upload business videos pretty much every day, so hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. Today we are talking about 8 money lessons from Tony Robbins. So I've actually been going through his book recently, Unshakable. I've learned a lot of money lessons from him too. I've read a lot of his books. I've seen a lot of his talks. I liked his Netflix special a lot. And we're going to cover 8 money lessons I learned from him and stuff that he says pretty often, which I think could help you guys with just becoming financially free or financially independent. So we're going to start with number 1 here. This one is for, I know a lot of you watching this are young people. That's my main audience, people under the age of 34. So people that are millennials or even teenagers right now. So we're going to go to this first one, invest early. Voice crack. Invest early. That's his number 1 money tip. So Tony Robbins actually, he bought his first property at age 18. I started investing in stocks at age 18, as you guys know, as most of you that have subscribed to this channel come from my stock investing videos. So investing early, that is the number 1 tip he could give. And I think that I was reading this book actually, I was reading his book, Unshakable, and it gave this example about how simply by investing at age 20 versus investing at age 27, that could be the difference. If they were to invest the same amount of money or roughly the same amount of money, a person at 20 years old could potentially have an extra $500,000, the average person, by the time that they retire at age 65. So investing early is key. That compound interest, that is key. So invest early, that's his number 1 money tip. Also, I guess I should say it's never too late to invest, though. If you're at age 50 and have no investments, at least start now so you can have at least some sort of passive income. We're going to move on to number 2 here. Oh yeah, so he minimize risk. When you are investing, minimize risk as much as possible. Now, in point number 4 here, I'm going to kind of touch on that again. But he has the same strategy as me, which is don't invest in risky stocks. Don't make risky investments. Diversify. Invest in blue chip stocks that have been around a long time. Don't go towards tech companies. Don't necessarily buy gold and silver. Get stuff where there's a semi-guaranteed return. So get high dividend stocks. Buy in index funds. That's something that he recommends too. Buy funds that just track the S&P 500 and you're going to get some good returns. Number 3 is be tax, this is funny, be tax efficient. Because I remember I was reading this and he didn't say avoid taxes because he didn't want to come off like that, right? I say avoid taxes. I say avoid taxes as much as you can as long as it's legal. Don't do it in an illegal way, because 1, that's morally bad, and 2, you're going to go to jail. So don't do it. But be tax efficient. So he actually said this in an interview, saving on taxes can be the greatest investment in your career. He said this, saving on taxes can be the best monetary investment you ever have. And so that's why he loves investing in real estate. People don't know this. Tony Robbins invests in tons of real estate, and I've talked about this. Real estate is the best tax haven you can have within your own country. And if you need to know more about that, go to my channel, How to Legally Pay No Taxes Using Real Estate. You get tons of tax write-offs every year, and this, just having one property, one multifamily property, can reduce your tax burden from, if you were to make $40,000 a year and you have a nice multifamily property, your income for tax purposes could be $10,000, $20,000. It could cut it in half or more. So be tax efficient. That's really key. And that's why I love real estate. I love real estate so much over stocks. People are like, why don't you talk about stocks more? I'm getting to the point now where I need to start thinking about how to save on taxes rather than how to potentially just gain 6 to 15% on my money. Because saving on taxes now for me could be more than 20%, more than 30%, etc. So for you guys, think about how you guys can be tax efficient. Investing in stocks is good for tax efficiency too. Capital gains is good. And dividends can be good for most people in terms of reducing your tax load. So think about ways where you can reduce your taxes, get business expenses, etc. Actually, one cool one I should just give you guys is that if you work from home at all, and you have a home office and you work from home even a little bit, even if it's only half of your time, you can write off your office space proportional to your rent or proportional to your mortgage, according to how much that space takes up. So I'll give you a rough example here. And this applies to only some countries too. So if you have an office space that takes up 20% of your home, and you work there most of the day or half the day, whatever, you can write off like 10% of your rent or mortgage as a business expense, because that's also your office too, where you only have that as an office space and you only work. So that's an interesting tax tip too. Talk to that with your local tax guy, accountant, whatever. It may change based on where you live. So we're going to move on to number 4 here. This was a giant money lesson that he had to learn. And if you're watching this channel, you guys know how much I have ripped on this. And how much of, I don't want to say scam, but okay, so avoid penny stocks. Because you hear all these people on YouTube, right, selling programs about how to invest in penny stocks. So penny stocks they're a quick way to lose money. Tony Robbins said at the age of 25, he lost every single dollar he invested in penny stocks. He was telling the story about how he saw that this woman, this slightly older woman, was driving this nice Ferrari, I think it was. And he went up to her and talked to her. How can you afford that Ferrari? How'd you get that car? And she was like, penny stocks. Or that's her husband owned a penny stock investment company. And so he invested in that and lost everything. And so penny stocks are the riskiest investment I know of, because they can go to zero or they can double. Now, I like to have this rule where for every one success story where people make millions of dollars, there's 9 people that went broke that you don't hear about because they didn't make any money from it. And so when you hear these guys like on YouTube, the people trading penny stocks, but how they got rich with penny stocks, I mean, then why are you on YouTube, man? If you're making $10 million a year in penny stocks, why are you on YouTube? You're teaching people to be risky with their money. And that's something that I'm very strong against. When I see a penny stock person, I rip on them. And Tony Robbins does the same thing. It's for the average person, penny stocks are not good. There's occasionally a few people who may know what they're doing, but most people don't. So don't get into penny stocks. Tony Robbins learned his lesson when he was 25 years old. We're going to move on to number 5 here. Number 5 is, so getting rich. So getting rich is, I should change this a little bit. Mindset, knowledge. Give me 1 second here. Getting rich is more about mindset and knowledge rather than having tons of money. So he said that being rich is more about having an open mind, I guess, and gaining wealth is more about having an open mind. I think it's more of along the lines of, it's a lot easier to make money once you know what you're doing, I guess. I think that's a good way of putting it. The more knowledge you have, the better mindset you have, the easier it is for you to gain wealth. And, people think that people that have a lot of money people have a lot of money have an easier time of gaining more money. That is kind of true, but I think that it's easier to gain money once you have a proper amount of knowledge and proper mindset relating to business, investing, etc. So that's important. Have a good mindset and keep on learning. Have a lot of knowledge. Now we're going to move on to number 6 here. Number 6 is, you don't need a lot to invest. So he was saying in an interview too that people think that you need thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to start investing. And that's just not true. I tell you guys, $500. I think that's a good way to start investing. $500. Tony Robbins actually said only $200. He says $200 is enough to start investing. He thinks that if you invest once, you will do it again and again and again. And so even though the $200 won't make you too much money, it's getting in that habit of investing. That's what's most important. So I agree with that. You don't need a lot of money to invest. That's something that I've learned from him. And so again, this goes along the same lines as that investing is a habit. Make investing a habit and invest more over time. So there's this rule. There's this rule that he was saying in his book. I'm going to try and see if I can remember it here. Where when you start off investing, start off with just 2% of your paycheck or 3% of your paycheck. So if you bring in, I don't know, what's a normal paycheck? I guess every 2 weeks it'd be about $1,500. We're just going to say you make $1,000 for a pay. No, we'll say $2,000. Let's say you make $2,000 for every paycheck, and he says start off with 2 or 3%. Take out, so that would be roughly $60 of that. Save it for now so that you can invest in the future. So out of every paycheck, take out 2 to 3%, set it aside so you don't touch it, and once it gets to $200 or $300, buy an investment. And then he says on the next paycheck, after you get comfortable with that, make it 5%. And then make it 10%, where it's $200 every paycheck. And then make it about 15 to 20%, which is usually what's recommended for most people. 15 to 20% of your paycheck should go towards future investments. So again, make investing a habit and invest more over time. You don't need to start investing 20% of your paycheck right away, because that's usually a shock for most people. I would recommend, if you could, I would start that, but it's not what most people do, because people get scared. They're like, oh, now I have no money. Now I have no money. 20%, I used that to buy that handbag and to go out to eat. And people usually get shocked and give up. So I would say gradually get into investing. Don't go all in right away. Number 8 is more of a mindset one, which is be grateful. I almost spelled that the wrong way. I was going to spell it like great, like G-R-E-A-T, full. Like be grateful, like be awesome. Be awesomeful. But be grateful for your wealth. And this is something that I have had to think about in recent years, which is I'm so fortunate now where I've got to experience a few different kind of jobs, I guess. I've got to be the employee where I wasn't getting paid enough and had a giant long commute every day of 3 hours, and I wasn't really making too much money. I've had a nice corporate gig where I could half work from home, half go into commute every day. I didn't really love what I was doing, but I was making good money. So it was okay, and I was getting a good work experience. And now I am doing very well working for myself, making a lot more money than I ever was before. And I'm fortunate because I have full control over my destiny, I guess, full control over my life. And I think waking up and being grateful for what you have once you achieve any amount of success, that's important. And it's important to, this is one of the reasons why I make videos. One, I do make money from these videos, which is, I'm open about that. That's the primary reason why I make videos is to make money. But 2, is to share information with you guys. That's really, really big to me. Stuff that has helped me start up my own company, have this own office space here, have this giant studio, which I totally don't need, but I love. This giant studio that's close to my home. I'm grateful for all this. My commute went down from 3 hours a day to 10 minutes, maybe a day. So I'm really grateful for it. So when you guys achieve your success, be grateful for it. Even if you guys are making 40 grand a year right now and have a 5 or 10 minute commute or 15-minute commute, you live in a city maybe, be grateful. Seriously, I would have killed for that a couple of years ago. Having a 15-minute commute or even a 30-minute commute or an hour commute would have been great. So just be grateful for what you have. There's lots of people in the world that would trade positions with you. Even if you're a poor person in the United States or Canada, there's billions of people that would rather trade positions with you that are living in Africa, Asia, etc. So I think that's going to wrap this video up. And yeah, what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of these lessons I learned from Tony Robbins? Do you guys agree with these? Should you not be grateful? Do you agree? Do you disagree with that? Anyways, I think that's going to wrap this video up. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.